Welcome back to the Singer's Success Path podcast. I'm Kamara Morell, your host, and here we discuss the world of building a successful career with our singing voices. No performances required. Before we start, I want to remind you there are a bunch of free resources for you at singerssuccesspath.com. So if you want to learn more, go check that out. We can look for an opportunity in every setback, every flaw, every excuse, and every weakness. Everything that feels like it is holding us back can be used. Not having enough time for our dream can invite us to become efficient. Not being in love with certain aspects of our career can cause us to pivot and see a new and better direction. Not having enough money to pursue something expensive can cause us to become very creative. Facing adversity is what moves us. I don't know who said this quote, "I had to make you uncomfortable, otherwise you would never have moved." When we're in the middle of something uncomfortable, it's not easy to be optimistic, but if we can catch ourselves, it's like noticing we're dreaming and we can change reality. If we catch ourselves in a moment of struggle, we can step outside of it, observe it, and ask ourselves what it can teach us. One quote unquote flaw I hear people share is that they're not sure if they're cut out for demo singing or sync licensing or whatever because their voice is too different. They don't sound like the Arianas, the Taylors, the Dua Lipas, but their unique voice could be their superpower. Sure, there's a lot of clients who do want that cookie cutter pop sound, but so many of them want something different. They want their song to stand out. My good friend Sarah doesn't sound like Ariana Grande, yet she's one of the top hired singers on Sound Better. This girl has so much character in her voice, so much depth. She's rugged and scratchy. She pronounces words weird sometimes, and I think is really cool. A unique voice is a voice we can become obsessed with. A cookie cutter voice is safe and will probably always have a job, but will have high competition. If you sound like Bjork, if you sound like Cher, if you sound like Sarah, you might have magical powers. You have a voice someone is craving. And history repeats itself, by the way. Did you notice there was a massive resurgence of disco? Electronic artists are having trouble finding their dream disco soul singer voice, and maybe you have it without realizing. I know some of our SSP singers grew up singing gospel in church. Their voices are unexpectedly in high demand in the EDM world. You've got to do some research, and you could find a genre that is in need of your style. And it might not be super obvious, but genres are always crisscrossing. Avicii brought country vocals to house music. Epic movie trailer music is always seeking opera singers. Ignorance is bliss too. I hear people say, "I am not a professionally trained singer." Well, you don't have to be. I'm living proof. I have never taken voice lessons. Horrible, right? Well, obviously, it doesn't really matter. I sing in a way that I think sounds good, and it just so happens that my clients agree. I just parrot what I think sounds good. I'm a chameleon. I pretend to sing like famous people, and it works. I tune and edit my vocals to perfection. Trust me, they don't wake up like this. I lean on technology to make them sound that good. So no, you don't have to be trained. You just have to be true to what you think sounds awesome. Vocal produce it to industry standard, and someone will feel just as good about your performance as you do. I think the biggest setback people face that keeps them from hitting their goals, from learning the skill they need, or from launching their business is lack of time and money. What's tragic is that accomplishing their goal would actually lead to having more money and having freedom with their time. But I get it. It's a real concern. It can feel like we're swimming upstream. But let's use our magical minds and figure this out, because to me, it's a sickness to not go after a dream. So when we don't have enough money to fund our dream, it's time to get super creative. Maybe that looks like not being able to afford a home recording studio. Okay, then maybe you get a recording engineer to partner with you and you split your revenue 50-50. That's actually what my friend Sarah does. I love challenging people to raise money when they need money. That's some frustrating advice, I know, but hear me out. This is why I'm such an advocate for singers to not be afraid to make money in a way that isn't their original dream, such as licensing acapellas, demo singing, sell an ebook, or create a special subscription program for your fans. You have the ability to generate money practically out of thin air. So if you need some cash to invest in your dream goals, I highly recommend taking a chance on some of those revenue streams I talk about. That master list of 35 revenue streams on my website is free to download. So, my two pokes at this problem are: one, get creative and think of how you can do what needs to be done with less money. And two, think about how you could raise even a little bit of money. There are platforms like Vocalizer and Vocal that make it relatively easy to make a quick buck. You just got to start. If your time is limited, how can you still take action towards your goal? You can get really efficient. You can take inventory, and it might actually feel really good to clean house, trim the fat, and let go of some time suckers. Where in your life are you maybe wasting time or doing unnecessary things that can free up some time? They say our productive output expands and contracts based on the time allotted. So, whether you have 1 hour or 4 hours to write a song, you'll take exactly that much time to do it. I think the real problem isn't having enough time to do something, though. I think it's actually that we don't start. I bet you $5 that you could absolutely reserve 1 hour for your project. You could find 1 hour. If you do, and you just start, the hard part is over, and you will be much more motivated to continue the project and find more time for it. Motivation is probably the best cure for the excuse of not having time. I think, and sorry if this comes off rude, but I think if you can't find time for your dream goals, you're just not that motivated to achieve them. So you may need to do a little journal exercise and rejuvenate your motivation. Do this. If you were to achieve your goal, write down your dream outcomes. What would life look like if you did achieve that goal? Chances are you'll write something down like, I'll have money, I'll have free time. I invite you to play the why game. Once you've written down what you thought were your dream outcomes, for each one, ask why and write that down. You may want to ask why again. I want freedom with my time. Why? So I'll have time to spend with loved ones. Why? Because that's really where the richness of life lies. Why else? I asked myself this recently if I can share something quite vulnerable. I really dug in and found something out about myself. Why I want to make lots of money and have lots of free time is because I'll finally feel safe and prepared to have children. I have been a hard no to having a baby for most of my adult life. Lately, I've realized that I'm a lot more warm to the idea of having kids because I feel financially safe. I feel available for it. This exercise will help you find out why you should make time and will make time for your bigger goals. Discover this deeper reason, this deeper sort of fuel that drives you, and it will help you with your excuse of not having enough time for your dreams. You can do a little bit every day. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to make it happen overnight, just a little bit every day. One of my dreams is to create a launch program to work side by side with singers to launch their singing businesses. I started taking action toward this dream in 2021 when I released my first ebook. But I realized that I need my singers to know how to record and vocal produce, so I needed to teach that first. I realized I needed to have my SSP live meetup so I can learn from my singers and learn what they need. So I'm doing just a little bit every day until I feel ready for us to launch together, and I'm not going to rush it. I've taken a couple years already, making little progress every day, and I'm still not ready, but I'm getting there. 2024 is a goal, but we'll see. I'm still learning how to be more helpful. So, those are some examples that tend to hold us back from scaling our mountains. And if there's anything else holding you back, I invite you to look closer at those things. They're just monsters in the closet that once you shine that flashlight on it, they tend to be solvable. Is it really a setback, or is it an opportunity to pivot, an opportunity to learn and refine your path? Is it really a flaw, or is it a superpower? Is it a chance to serve a unique market? Are you declaring and owning this setback as a truth? Are those reasons good enough to not have your dream life? Ask yourself if there's an alternative, another perspective. No one is incapable of having the future they want. And if you're still feeling stuck, I bet we have some of the same riddles to solve. That's why we meet up on the first Friday of each month at SSP Live. We work through all these things together. So you can sign up for that to receive the Zoom link at singersuccesspath.com, and you can check out all the other resources there for you. This concludes today's episode. And of course, we'll be back next week with much more to talk about. See you there.